So far we were talking about the total number of ATP molecules released during the whole process of cellular respiration is 36. 2 in the glycolysis step, 2 in the Krebs cycle step, and 32 ATP molecules are released during the electron transport chain. Let's see how this ETC cycle or chain it works. The basic components used for electron transport chains are based on different complexes. The names of the complexes are named as complex 1, complex 2, 3, and 4, and their names are NADH dehydrogenase and succinate, coenzyme Q reductase, coenzyme Q cytosine reductase, cytochrome oxidase. And the number of proteins present in complex 1 are 46. This is a huge complex of proteins, the first complex. Second complex, it is constituted of 5 types of proteins. Complex 3 has 11 types of proteins, and complex 4, it has 13 types of proteins in it. And there are different prosthetic groups. Prosthetic groups mean the functional groups which give characteristics to these proteins, like FMN, this is called flavoprotein, and there are iron centers there, iron and sulfur centers are there in their structure. Similarly, for other complexes, different types of prosthetic groups or functional groups are used. Well, this is the first scheme or one scheme out of 3 which I will show you to explain the mechanism of electron transport chain. You can see here you can see these 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These steps constitute the electron transport chain. Actually, this one is outer side of the inner membrane of mitochondria. This is the inner mitochondrial membrane, and these complexes, protein complexes, reside inside the hydrophobic or hydrophilic ends of inner mitochondrial membrane. Complex 1, and here resides the complex 2, complex 3, 4, and the whole process of electron transport chain occurs through these complexes. And next phase is the ATP synthase. That is the other step. We will touch it a bit during this lecture. Electrons, they flow from NADH to NAD plus to produce NAD plus, and these electrons in the yellow, they travel to the complex 1. This is a protein complex, and these are the electron carrier proteins inside these protein complexes. And here you see, due to the electron flow, this hydrogen, it will be released and it will move to the space between membranes, between the inner membrane, inner mitochondrial membrane, and outer mitochondrial membrane. So there is production of H positive. There is production of more H positive inside the spaces between membranes than inside the mitochondrial membrane. So in the next step, these electrons will flow from complex 1 to the receptor. This is cytochrome enzyme, cytochrome coenzyme, and in the next step, in the second complex of the protein, there is the second complex of the protein which is having let's see, 5 number of proteins. FADH2, it will be reduced to, it will be oxidized to FAD, and protons from here, they will be protonated in this form H positive, and these hydrogen ions in the form of protons, they will be again incorporated into the space between membranes, inner and outer membranes. So again the hydrogen ion concentration is more in here than at this side. So this is all through the reduction from the electrons. These electrons, they further move to the third complex, protein complex, and again the hydrogen is moved from inside of the mitochondrial matrix to the outer space. It is protruded out from the inner membrane of the mitochondrial matrix, again increasing the concentration of H positive outside the inner membrane of the mitochondria. These electrons, they travel from this. There is again another coenzyme. This one is let's see the name of this enzyme. This is cytochrome C. Here, through this cytochrome C, these electrons, they go into the complex 4, the protein complex 4, and here, and finally these electrons again creating the higher potential of H positive ions outside the inner membrane of mitochondria. You see here the positive H positive ions are in excess or in abundance than as compared to the inside of the mitochondrial membrane. So these electrons finally, they will here in the presence of oxygen and protons, these electrons, they will help in the formation of water. This is the only step during the whole respiratory mechanism, that water is produced during this step. And during the process of ATP synthase or phosphorylation, ATP in huge amount is produced during the next step. But this is the whole electron transport chain, that how electrons, they get converted, they continue the process of reduction or oxidation, and hydrogen ions are produced, and how these hydrogen ions, they further go into the photosynthesis of ATP from ADP. Let's see this cycle again in the another slide. Maybe it will be easier for you. This is the inner mitochondrial membrane, and this is the inside matrix of the membrane. This is the outer side of the inner membrane, and the electron transport chain is all in red, and ATP synthase is all in blue. So this is the inner mitochondrial membrane. You see again lipid bilayer kind of structure, and these complex proteins are here. Number 1, number 2, this is the coenzyme. This is number 3rd protein. This is again coenzyme cytochrome C. This is the number 4 protein. Complex proteins. NADH is oxidized to NAD plus. Production of hydrogen ions or protons is here. Two free hydrogen ions, they move this side, and electrons in the form of yellow line, they travel to this coenzyme UQ, ubiquinone Q इसे कहा जाता है, and the electrons in the complex protein complex 1, they come only from NADH, and in case of complex 2, electrons are coming from FADH2 only, and these both electrons, they come in the intermediate coenzyme Q, ubiquinone Q, and because this is organic coenzyme, and from here, from this mediatory step, the electrons travel to the protein complex 3. Again there is reduction or oxidation process, and the protons are removed outside the membrane, and through cytochrome C, another coenzyme, these electrons move to the complex 4 protein, and again production of hydrogen ion is there, and from here these electrons, they enter into the reduction into this step, and where water is produced in the presence of protons and oxygen is used. This is aerobic step. This whole process is aerobic. So two free hydrogen ions and two electrons exiting electron transport chain, half of oxygen molecule